Most producers work really hard, but many still get stuck, either inside the studio getting caught up in trends or mixing forever, or outside the studio struggling with branding, finding it difficult to build a real fan base, or worrying about things out of our control like AI. So today I'm breaking down 6 really common mistakes that are holding producers back in 2025. Let's start with the big one. The first one I see is chasing trends too hard. It's easy to see what's blown up online and think that you need to sound like that to stay relevant. But when you consistently chase what's trending, your music stops being a reflection of you. It becomes more of a reaction to someone else's success. And I think something as music producers that we all underestimate is that by the time a trend is visible, it's already oversaturated. So you end up kind of blending in rather than standing out. So here's what I do instead. I'd use trends as ingredients, but not the whole recipe. Draw inspiration from what's current, but blend it with your own influences, your sound, and your story. We can think of it like fashion. Wearing the exact outfit that someone else wore doesn't say too much about you, but when you take inspiration from different places and you make it your own, that's where real style comes from. So remember, use trends but don't follow them. Another way that music producers unintentionally slow down their progress is by getting stuck in the mixing process way too early. They end up over-obsessing about their mixes before the song's even finished, and I'm telling you that I've fallen for this trap too, and it wastes so much time. You could be spending ages EQing a snare drum to get it perfect before the song's even done yet. And while you're doing it, it can feel like progress, but it's actually avoiding the hard part, which is finishing the track. So what I do instead is I focus on getting the idea out first. The arrangement, the feel, the energy, the emotion. You can't really mix those things exactly. They're like the life of the song. So once that feels right and feels solid, then you can refine the small detail. Think of it like building a house. You probably wouldn't paint the wall before you finish building the wall. These last 2 adjustments can really help to benefit your own progress in the studio. But there's another side that goes way beyond just working alone, and I'm going to come back to that in a second. Before that, I just want to touch on a major shift that's happening in music, which is AI. And more importantly, producers worrying about AI rather than using it to assist them. AI is everywhere now, and for some producers that's really exciting. For others, it's quite unsettling. I think I fall somewhere in between. There's always this fear that AI is going to take over and replace creativity, but in reality, the producers that are using it well treat it way more like a co-pilot rather than a replacement. I've seen AI used for things like generating sound ideas, supporting your mixes, or speeding up your admin tasks, but the emotional core of a track, that still needs a human, and that human is you. So the shift in mindset here is to use AI to clear creative roadblocks, not to do the creating for you. AI can sketch a draft, but only you can give it the soul. So this next mistake is something that I think is always going to be a problem, and it's when producers focus so much on the music and hope that that completely speaks for itself. And sometimes it does, but we can't really rely on that. In 2025, branding isn't a luxury, it's just part of the art. Your visual identity, your story, and the way that you show up online, it all brings context to your music and helps people to connect before you even press play. And I get it, if you just want to make music and you're not really too fussed about building it into a career, then you don't need to worry about branding. You can just make music, put it out there, and that's all good. But for those of you like myself that love making music but also would love to do it full time, we do need to think about branding. So the solution is to think of it as the extension of your creativity. Even small things like consistent artwork or a story behind each track, these will make a big difference. Think of it as the music being the message, but the branding is the envelope that it's delivered in. So the way you look and feel as an artist matters, but also how you operate behind the scenes. Which brings me nicely onto the next mistake, which is not learning the business side of the music industry. This one's not flashy, but it's so important, and it's mainly for people that want to build it into a career, but it's also for those that don't, because you might still make a song that does really well, and it'd still be good to cash in on those royalties. Many talented producers could struggle just because they don't quite know how to release their songs properly, how to claim their royalties, and how to promote themselves without burning out. You don't need to become a marketing guru or business expert, but just learning the basics can really help give you some control. So to fix this issue, just start small. Build a release checklist or learn where your money could come from. You could look at some different avenues that producers commonly make money. Things like gigs, streams, merch, YouTube, Patreon. Think of it like maintenance for a car. Boring, yes, but if we ignore it, the car could break down. So learn to understand the business side and things could flow a little bit easier. And finally, even if you've got the music, the branding, and the business, there's still one thing that ties it all together. I see a lot of artists focusing on numbers, views, likes, streams, but overlooking the deeper part, which is building a real community that wants to keep coming back for more. So in music, it's way too easy to think of success as how many streams you've got or how many followers. But the truth is, the deep connection is way better than reaching loads and loads of people. There's that really common saying that it's better to have 1,000 true fans than 150,000 sort of engaged fans. Real growth happens when you focus on forming relationships, and that's because those genuine connections can lead to new opportunities. People share your work, they invite you to collaborate, and they stick around long term. It's the kind of growth that doesn't fade when algorithms change. So the way to approach this is, instead of asking, how do I get more followers? Ask yourself, how do I build a real community? You can engage with other artists, you can share their wins, share their new releases, show up where real conversations happen, like gigs, live streams, DMs. I started this from day one before I even released any music. I was interviewing artists and uploading it to my website just to build some connections and build some kind of community. And now sometimes I get people asking me if they can be interviewed next. Remember, the producers that win long term are the ones that connect, not just post. Now, something I'd really like to know from you is what style of content you want to see on this channel. I'm mainly looking at the common producer problems that we all face, and I want to try and address those and help you all get through them. So let me know some of the challenges you face, whether it's in the studio or outside of the studio. Comment below and I'll see you on the next video.